Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of So Recently podcast. I'm Matt and I'm here with Miranda. And Miranda had a fun idea to talk about this week in regards to topics. And so Miranda, do you want to share what we're going to be discussing today?
Sure. So you and I both actually have international trips coming up like within the next week. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about planning and our expectations of our trips. To, go a little deeper, we are not going on the same trip.
Correct.
We're both going to different places.
Correct.
With our significant others. But we're going around the same time. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about our travels.
Yeah, pretty much the exact same time. I think we have a couple days that we're not, but we're pretty much overlapping the entirety of our trips. So I'll be going to Iceland next Wednesday. I'm heading out with my wife, Molly, and we'll be there for, I believe, 8 nights in total. So it's a long trip for me. We usually don't go on that many trips, so it's a lengthier one, and I'm excited. And I also have 2 weeks off of work, so I think big positives right away. This is my longest time away from work ever.
I was going to say, you never take that much time off, and that's so much time off for you.
Yeah, when I first started my current job, I used to have summers off, and so I had 1 summer off, and then they changed my role. So that's no longer the case. So I'm excited because this is like the biggest break in time I've had. Otherwise, I have like a week off max.
Oh, dang. Okay, so I guess, are you at all nervous about coming back to work?
Yeah, I guess that's actually like a funny thing because I'm so excited for the trip and excited about obviously all the things that we'll do there. And we'll talk about that too because this is like a detour immediately, but you're right that like the first thing that I'm stressed about is the amount of emails and communications that I get, and I supervise 2 people, so just hoping that those people, I think they will, but like just hoping that everything is good for them and they don't have any questions and that they don't feel like they need to rely on me for anything because I will be out of country and won't be able to reply to them or get back to them at all. Yeah,
I share the sentiment of fearing the emails I'm going to get from my job. Yeah. We have an email, too many emails a day, and being gone for 8 days, it's going to be a nightmare. I just know it will be.
Yeah.
And I'm not excited to come back, but man, am I excited to go on my trip. But before we talk about my trip, I want to know, what are you most excited for in Iceland?
So, we'll be going to Iceland this is my first time going. So I think partly this is my first big European trip, or really any serious outside of the country trip. I've been to Canada before, but Canada feels like the US and it doesn't really feel that different. It was a cool trip. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but it was like not totally different area, I guess.
Right. Well, especially since we're in Minnesota.
Yeah. It's
essentially Minnesota.
Part 2, right. So it didn't really feel that different. Like I went to Toronto, and so it was cool, but it wasn't like anything particularly different. And Iceland should be a very different experience, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the nature side of things. I'm looking forward to hiking and seeing waterfalls. One particular thing, and I don't know how to pronounce it, like most of the areas we're going to, I really don't know how to pronounce. So I'll probably be learning a lot about that on our trip. But we're going to a greenhouse that has tomatoes that they make tomato soup out of.
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
So I've heard really good things about it, and I'm a big soup connoisseur.
Yes, you are.
So I'm actually like super stoked about that in specific. So that's one of the main things. But obviously, like Blue Lagoon and Sky Lagoon and some of the different like hot springs are going to be awesome. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to just the like... Also the cooler weather, because we'll be, dropping several degrees when we head over to Iceland versus the heat of Minnesota right now, which is disgusting.
Dude, I am also so excited for the weather. It's going to be, it's like, I looked, and next week it's going to be like high 60s. Where I'm going.
Yeah.
It's
okay. We'll get to that. Yeah, mine I think it's like 50s or 60s as well.
Sounds so nice.
It should be great. And yeah, I'm excited. Like you've been out of country before, you've been overseas before, and I really haven't. And so I'm looking forward to, even though we're going to kind of just like one location that is, it's not like it's like France or Germany or like somewhere where it's like a totally like big trip, I guess. Iceland's still a really exciting area for me to go to. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it.
Yeah. And so did you guys decide on Iceland for a specific reason? Or is this because it's,
So
relatively cheap to get to for Americans?
yeah, I mean, so not really. No, it has nothing to do with, I guess, pricing on it. It was more my wife is super excited about Iceland. She's been before and like desperately wanted to go back. And so we're doing this kind of along the same timeline as our 5-year wedding anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So partially just as kind of like a anniversary trip, even though it won't overlap with the time we're over there, and partially just as something that she's super excited about. That's kind of how we chose it.
Okay.
I think we've got some other plans for future European trips and different areas that we want to go to, but she's very excited about it, and that was like the one place that she's really wanted to go back to.
Okay.
So
yeah, I know Molly talks very highly about Iceland, and it is on my list of places to get to.
coincidentally, a coworker that just started in my office right before she started, she actually was away for a week in Iceland.
Oh,
part of the
nice.
her start date specifically had to line up, so it was after her time in Iceland because she had already booked tickets. But yeah, it should be really cool. And my coworker, had all sorts of great things to say about it, and is super excited that we get to go and experience it because she just had a blast, and it was apparently her favorite trip she's been on. So I'm looking forward to it because Molly has talked so highly of it and my coworkers talk so highly of it that I feel like I'm just going to have a great time and I don't even really have to stress too much about
Right.
it. It should be fun.
Are you guys staying in one spot and just exploring, going in like day trips, or are you like doing like a rent a car and travel throughout the country?
We're renting a car and
Okay.
we're going to be traveling. So I'll be driving. I had to actually, right in front of me, I have my international driving permit that I had
Nice.
to go get, which is a whole weird process, honestly, for anybody who hasn't done this. I don't know if you've done this, but you need to get this apparently for certain countries to drive overseas, but it's basically done through AAA.
Oh.
Like you go to AAA and do it.
Yeah.
It's not like a government office or anything. You just go to AAA and get one.
Oh, we didn't have to do that because where we're going, apparently, you just have to have a valid driver's license in America. And so we didn't have to get one.
Yeah, it sounds like it's like specific for certain countries.
Interesting.
But I don't know. I guess it's maybe just verification
Yeah.
that yes, there's someone who's verifying you have a license somewhere else. I don't really know.
Huh.
But either way, so
Interesting.
we'll be renting a car and we'll be driving the Golden Circle and going to see all sorts of different areas, and we're stopping in. We'll be in Reykjavik for like a day and a half, and then other than that, we're going to be all over the place.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I'm excited to hear all
Yeah.
about it because, and I want pictures. I want so many pictures.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to actually take photos, and I mean I'm usually good at that, but actually share photos with people, which I'm usually terrible with.
Yeah,
so
you're really bad at it.
that's my goal. But I'll send you some for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be really cool. I don't do a ton of travel, and so I'm kind of looking forward to, like, we usually do like one trip a year, if anything, and so this will be a fun one. But yeah, we'll talk more about other trips and stuff that we've done in the past. But
Yeah.
where are you going to be heading around that same time?
Well, it's another I country, Ireland. I'm going to the Emerald Isle.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
So what made you choose Ireland?
So actually, Ireland has been on my list for a while, and this will be James's and I's first international trip together. And we really want to go. There's so many places that we want to go, but I've been wanting to go to Japan for years.
Yeah.
Like probably 2018, 2019 was when I first really got into the idea. And I still haven't been able to go. But
Right.
James kind of made a good point. He was like, how about we make our first international trip in an English-speaking country?
Right.
And I had already been to the UK, Scotland and London. Not that I wouldn't go back. I absolutely loved Scotland. Scotland's kind of like my Iceland to Molly. It's like, I absolutely loved
Wanna
it.
go
I want
back
to go back.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we decided Ireland because that was one on my list. And I was like, I haven't been there. James hasn't been there. And we just kind of was like, all right, Ireland, let's do it. And he happened to have like enough credit card points to essentially get like one of the tickets like really discounted.
Nice.
So we were like, all right, let's do it. And that's kind of how we stumbled upon just being really excited to go to Ireland. And the more we planned and talked about it, the more I'm like, yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a good time.
Sure. That's awesome. Yeah, so obviously going for just somewhere a little bit easier, or at least maybe a little bit easier of a transition to do a big trip together for versus going to Japan. I know that's like always been the thing you want to go to.
Yeah.
I do too. One of my colleagues went on his own,
Yeah.
and that sounds insane to me, but good for him.
I mean, I keep thinking back, like, that's like something I should have just done
Right.
in 2019. Just met up with Brian when he was there, stationed in Okinawa.
Yes.
I would have been like, yeah,
Yes.
like, let's go.
But
but
you'll get
it's
there,
fun.
and it'll be fun to go with James too eventually. And but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously for Ireland, partly due to just kind of pricing and somewhere that you're interested in going. What are you most excited to do while you're over there?
You see, I knew you were going to ask, and I don't know what I'm most excited for. We have a few really cool things planned. Like, we're going to a distillery, a Middleton
Okay.
distillery, which is just really good whiskeys.
Okay.
And we're going to, like, the Cliffs of Moher. James booked us a night or two at this super fancy, like, hotel that used to be an abbey.
Okay.
It's very fancy looking. And, you know, our planning, we have a lot of, like, pins in the map. Like, oh, this could be something fun to go look at.
Okay.
But we don't have, like, we don't have as many, like, set in stone, like, plans, except for, like, the tours. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
we have 2 tours booked right now. Other than that, we're kind of like, let's see what happens. We're just going to go explore. We're also renting a car, so
Sure.
we're going to be driving around half the country.
Yeah, so because the way you're kind of describing it, that's usually how I like to travel, or at least kind of what I'm comfortable with, which is just like have cool places to go look at. And if you do them, that's great. If not, that's okay. You can do other stuff and like kind of keep it loose. But you're also doing a couple scheduled things too. So what specifically are like the scheduled things that you're doing?
So we're going to the college in Dublin to go look at the library.
Excellent.
Oh, I'm blanking. I'm blanking on the. Oh no, I'm blanking, Matt.
Don't worry, you don't.
Matt, I'm blanking. Trinity College.
Okay. Yeah, you don't need to have specifics because I don't know any or know how to pronounce any of the places that I'm going to, so you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, gotcha. I'm pretty sure it's the Book of Kells, like Trinity College, like the library. It looks super cool.
Okay.
We got tickets for that, and then the Middleton Distillery is the only other like tickets we have already purchased. We do plan on going to the Guinness Storehouse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I assume that's like a given once you're over there.
Well, based on our research, it's like kind of like you could just show up. It's, daily mission and just go either do the tour or the tasting. We're getting to do that. And then otherwise, I don't think we have another like tour or anything that has, requires tickets, I don't think. But we're going to go see the Cliffs of Moher. We're going to go see a bunch of castles. We're basically marking off every castle and ruins that we can go find along the way.
Okay.
Like our route is kind of like our itinerary is kind of like Dublin, drive across country to Galway, and then down to Cork, Kilkenny, and then back up to Dublin and fly home.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a circle on Southern Ireland.
Okay. That should be fun. So do you feel like, and I did confirm, I think you're talking about the Trinity College Library. I looked it up
Cool,
as we were
thank
talking,
you.
and I recognize this place. It's very famous, obviously, looking at it. I've seen this photo thousands of times of this building, so
Yeah.
that'll be awesome. So this will be your first international trip with James. You've done international trips before.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you feel like is different? Because like I've done more like domestic trips and, within the United States. What do you feel like is very different about that process of going internationally?
I think the biggest thing for me, and like it's been a while since I've left the country or the continent, I should say. It can be a little, even to an English-speaking country. Like when I went to, I landed in London, even there, it was kind of surreal to be somewhere different, and people know that you're not, from there. You get treated differently. You do. People thought I was Canadian because of our amazing Minnesotan accent, and I do think that...
Oh, yeah, that sounds
right?
about right.
I do think, though, that helped people open up to me at first, instead of assuming that I was just an American.
Right, that's fair.
And then once they talked to me for a bit and seemed to like me, they were like, "Oh, so where are you from?" And I would always be like, I want to say Southern Canada, but I always said, "Oh, I'm from Minnesota," and I'm one of the states, and then they'd go,
Right.
"Oh." They'd have this moment of "Oh shoot, I think I actually like this American." What? And
whoops, it's in America.
And to be fair, this was back in 2017 when I was in London and Scotland.
Right.
So it was a little different because of the current political leader.
Political climate.
Yeah.
I don't know if our reputation abroad has improved much,
no,
but
I don't think so.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So
even it definitely helped to, be somewhere with English speaking people at first. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it was bad the entire time. I didn't ever felt like people were being, on purpose, being rude to me on purpose or anything like that.
Right.
But I think my accent helped.
Sure. Yeah, I'm curious to see if it's any different in Ireland, because obviously there's like similar areas, but probably very different culturally in a lot of ways. So
yeah, and in all fairness, the most I got was when I was in like London, that city, like talking to people. They were all like, "Oh, you're American." Like I was like, "Yes, I am. Thank you for noticing." But no, the other thing is the amount of, I wouldn't say stress. I guess there is an amount of stress that's added to international flight or international travel, because you're leaving your country and you're kind of at the whim of that country. Like, right. I don't know all the laws. I'm a little nervous about driving because they have different road signs, but James and I have looked over it. But like, Same. I don't want to get pulled over. Like I don't know how all that works and what that'll look like. And I've not had any dealings with international police or anything like that, but it is something in the back of my mind. Like, I wonder what would happen if something went bad and I needed help. Like, to find the nearest embassy. Okay, what if I can't get to it? What do I do? And then the whole like customs is always a nightmare.
Right. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about driving as well. So are you actually the one driving, or is James going to be driving, or are you both kind of trading off?
We're going to trade off, especially since we didn't need to get special license or anything.
Okay. I'll be the one driving entirely while we're over there. So I'm a little nervous, but I think it'll be okay. And also, like, I would be the one driving anyway, because
I was going to say, you'd be driving anyways. Yeah.
I'm the one, I drive a lot, so.
I think it'll be fine. Like, most, I've been scouring, like, Reddit for, like, any tips on driving, and most of them are like, yeah, after, like, a couple, like, a little bit of driving, you get really used to like being on the other side of the road, and it's fine. Yeah. It's just a lot of the roads are really small, like probably for one car. And I was like, okay, well, my mind is I have done a lot of travel in like the west side of the country of our country, so a lot of mountain driving. And I was like, look, I've driven on tiny ass roads that are like way up on a cliff, and if you look out the window, your tires are like just on the edge.
Right.
I'm like, if I can get through that, the worst in Ireland, to my knowledge, they don't have mountains. So the worst that'll happen is if we slip into the ditch. Oh well, we're not going to go tumbling down a mountain.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, well, also we'll just pull off to the side as much as possible if like a tractor or a bus goes by. Like, I'm not nervous about that, honestly. It's getting used to the driving on the other side. But once that happens, I feel pretty confident of both of our abilities.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be good. I'm not too stressed because from what I understand, driving in Iceland is pretty much the same in a lot of ways as in the US. But it's just nerve-wracking to be in a car when you're not at home, I guess. I don't know. Right. Being in other people's cars in general is something I'm kind of used to be honest. But most people don't get a lot of experience driving cars that aren't theirs outside of, people who rent cars all the time. So we'll see. It'll be a little bit nerve-wracking. But do you feel like there's anything that you're like really nervous about with the trip? Or do you feel like you're just excited to get going and like just kind of approach it once you get there?
I'm just excited to approach once we get there, because I think the way we planned it, it's going to be a lot of, we have the ability just to explore. Mm-hmm. We have, like I said, a lot of pins in the map around the areas we're going to be. And if we have time or if we want to, we can head that way or we can go a different way. The one thing that I would recommend to anybody wanting to travel, though, like internationally or domestically, if you're going to do like a multi-day thing, as long as you know where you're going to sleep, you can do whatever you want, like throughout the days. Like, knowing where you're going to sleep is like the only thing that I was like, okay, let's book that first and then talk about, what exactly we want to do. Like, our process kind of was, we talked about things that we thought were cool and then looked at the areas and went, okay, so maybe we'll stay here and we can, that's like, you know, a 20-minute drive, a 30-minute drive to this thing. And so that's kind of how we picked the cities. Well,
Yeah.
Dublin and Galway were like must stays, but like Cork and Kilkenny were kind of
Sure.
like a, you know, oh yeah, that's fun stuff. We can do stuff down here. But knowing where you're going to stay is very nice. It definitely helped ease the anxiety and stress.
Yeah, kind of crucial in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually booking travel for work right now and just, finding a spot, and we'll see. I'll probably do a little bit of visiting. I'm actually going to Chicago for work, so just driving over there, honestly. But
Oh, I was going to ask.
yeah, I'd love to fly, but that's not how it works.
Dang.
So
Well,
I'll be
Chicago's
driving,
not too
but
far.
it'll be okay. But yeah, just, you get your spot and then you're kind of good to go. And I love to just kind of like figure stuff out on trips. But this one will be a little bit more structured than what we've usually done in the past.
Okay.
Outside of, there's a couple days that we have a little bit more open. Like we're doing drives and we're going to stop at different parks and see waterfalls on the way. So
Okay.
it's similar to yours where there's a little bit more openness outside of a couple specific things we're doing.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to travel in my opinion. Like, I don't necessarily like the strict, up at 5 a.m., make sure you're here at this time. Like, I don't want that. I'm on vacation, like there's some things that I would definitely be like, oh yeah, this is like an experience that I don't know if I'll ever have again. So let's go do it. But like, it's also like, well, we have other things that we want to do as well. You kind of in the moment get to decide what you really want to do in that time.
Pick and choose what's important.
Yeah. Yeah, and depending on how you're doing.
Yeah, to me, I found that like the stuff I'm excited about when I travel is usually just being in a place, so it doesn't really have much to do with the stuff you're doing over there. It's more of
Right.
just being in somewhere new and trying new stuff. So like when I've traveled to like New York in the past or Toronto when we were there recently, it was, we had some plans of things we wanted to go do, but it was like, well, I just found this cool shop, so I want to spend time at this shop, or I want to go
Yep.
there's a cool like street fair, so we're gonna check that out, and that
yeah.
tends to be, I think, a little bit more chill than like other trips I've been on, where it's like a lot more structure and like you need to get up at this time because you need to be here at this time because stuff, and I don't like kind of having that timetable. I'm used to that with work, and I like to like kind of get rid of that when I'm out traveling. So.
Yeah, when I was in Scotland especially, one of my favorite things to do when I was there was, at night I'd go to a pub to get some dinner, and people would just sit at the table with me. Random strangers would come sit down and just start chatting with you, and I hear that Irish people are very similar. They'll just strike up a conversation with you, especially if they realize that you're not Irish and they want to come talk to you.
That's awesome.
And it's so much fun just sitting in a pub talking to locals.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. It's just one of my favorite things about travel is meeting people and hearing their stories. So I'm very excited to, go to a pub and just start chatting with locals. And I think that'll be one of my highlights. That's what I'm predicting is going to be, I'm going to come away with like a good story or meet someone really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I hope I don't know. I hope we meet people over there when we go to Iceland. We'll see. But I think it'll be cool either way, just because there's so much like natural beauty, obviously, in Iceland, but in Ireland too. So regardless, I think there's going to be cool stuff to do, whether you go anywhere specific or you're just like exploring the outdoors too. So. Yeah.
Right.
Do you have like any like one thing in particular? I guess you kind of mentioned it just now, but like besides that you really want to get out of the trip, like one thing specifically that you're like, I hope this happens on the trip.
I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea. I feel like I don't have anything specific other than I want to have a good time with my boyfriend. We have a few like kind of date night things set up. He got reservations at like a Michelin star restaurant one night.
Nice. Okay.
I think it's the day. Actually, so we're going around my birthday.
Yeah.
And I think it's the night before my birthday.
It overlaps with your birthday, right?
Oh yeah, my birthday's next Friday, and we didn't get
Yeah.
home until that following Tuesday.
Right. That's what I thought. Okay.
So yeah, we'll actually be by Galway and like the Cliffs of Moher.
Okay.
We'll be there on my birthday.
That's awesome.
So that's gonna be fun. So I guess having like a stellar 30th birthday would be
Yeah.
Something I'm hoping for. Something,
That's fair.
I hope nothing terrible goes wrong on this trip. I hope everything goes well and we planned it right and everything's okay.
Yeah.
So I can enjoy my birthday. But I mean, I'm going to be with James, so I'll enjoy it. And I'm going to be in Ireland, so I'll really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I guess that.
Okay.
How about you? You got anything in particular that you are really looking forward to or hoping to get out of this like one of the few international trips you've taken?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping it's a, kind of a start of more, because we're planning on doing not another immediate one, but in 2026 we're hoping to probably go over to Germany or go to Italy. So ideally it'll be kind of a great first trip, overseas, but definitely excited for the food. I've heard there's lots of seafood and I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to that tomato soup, as I told you. We were going to do a Michelin star restaurant, but I'm also traveling with my wife, Molly, who is incredibly picky. So we're not going to do it. And that's okay with me, because that's awesome and it sounds like a fun time, but I'd rather not do it overseas if I know she's not going to like it.
Right.
So we won't be doing that. But yeah, just hoping, we're hoping we get to see the Northern Lights while we're over there. And
that would be so cool.
We're also going whale watching. So
heck yeah.
Seeing whales, yeah, we're doing it in those little rafts. It's not in a boat; it's in a raft. So I'm a little anxious about that, but it should be really fun.
Do either of you get seasick?
I don't think I do. No,
okay.
Molly a little bit, but she's gonna take some Dramamine and stuff.
Okay,
so
I was gonna say make sure you take something.
Yeah, I don't think I get seasick. I hope. I haven't been on a raft or on a boat in quite a while, but I never have. So we'll bring Dramamine aplenty.
Okay,
so.
yeah, because it's different on the ocean than on a lake.
Oh yeah, I've done whitewater rafting sort of stuff before, so I would assume if that worked out okay, this probably won't be as hectic, but I have no idea.
Okay,
we'll see.
Well,
if I get sick, I'll update on the pod.
Yeah, please do. I want a full
breakdown of what happened.
A full breakdown of you just puking your brains out.
I'm hoping that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah, I hope so too. But if Molly gets sick, I also want to know that.
Yeah, we'll be going. So it's also right around her 29th birthday, which is her golden birthday, which it's at the end of the month, but we're kind of saying it's an anniversary / birthday trip. So just hoping it's a good trip for Molly. She really is excited to go back. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that we're both very excited about our trips, and next podcast recording, not next week, because we're both going to be gone.
Yeah.
We're going to kind of break down our plan is to talk about our trips.
Yeah, we could either do one podcast or two separate podcasts. We could talk about both trips in detail, or we just do a really long one, which is also an option.
It is. We'll have to discuss that.
Yeah, the next few episodes, next episode / next two, will at least be covering some travel stories and maybe some fun stuff that happened. So it'll be cool. I'm looking forward to updating and having kind of a little bit of a recap of what we actually ended up doing now that we, have all these plans, what actually happened.
Right? That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, man, you can plan all you want, but something might happen where you had to change something, or something super cool happened.
Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, well, cool. Well, I hope your trip goes well.
I hope your trip goes excellent as well.
Thanks. Yeah, and I'm sure it will, and we'll give each other more updates to that. All right, everybody, thank you so much again for listening to another episode of So Recently. We will be back, ideally, in a couple weeks here once we're back from our trips. So with that, I'm Matt.
And I'm Miranda.
And thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.